unfortunately, like in Japan, it becomes this like normalized thing where your partner, your husband comments on their wife's body or their girlfriend's body, and it's such a normal thing, and the girlfriend or the wife just accepts it. So
Yeah.
how can it is a very sensitive subject, so how can one kind of bring up a more of a constructive way to address this issue with your partner without without kind of creating this fight or resentment, I suppose.
I think it really depends, first of all, on the relationship, but I think all these conversations need to stem out of respect for one another, right? So the same way you would say to a family member or someone who's in the playground, hey, like, it really hurts when you said this to me. And often where these conversations veer is down two paths. One, it's focused on beauty standards, which maybe you're not with the right person if that's what they're valuing you for, your beauty, because you know what? We all get old, we all change, so you want to be with someone who is going to be able to grow with you. Sometimes genuinely it's out of concern for health, because the problem is that people believe that health is tied to your size. So our societies have convinced us with studies, which are often funded by diet culture, statistics, whatever they can, to say, hey, it's not healthy to be fat. But just because someone is fat doesn't mean that they're actually unhealthy, and vice versa. So really learning about fat phobia, which is the fear, hatred, and discrimination of fat bodies, is critical to this discussion.
So like a lot of the times Japanese people like to kind of blend in instead of standing out, and they kind of shame people that do try to take a different route. So maybe it could be one of the contributions to why body positivity message isn't really spoken a lot, because people might think, oh, it's normal to say you have to say thin, even though I don't feel like that might not be the best message. So like to those people who are a little bit scared, what kind of tips you can give people to kind of show support and also voice their concerns as well? Maybe like little baby steps that you can do, maybe not 100, but
I think that starting to have these conversations in private settings like the family unit is a good place to start. So speaking to your children or your partner or your parents about being non-judgmental and learning as a family about the history of body image, things like fat phobia, will help start to normalize these topics. It's scary, but it's the only way that mainstream society will begin to catch on, is that we take these steps towards, being brave and just showing up as we are. Body positive movement, it's all about taking these baby steps. So whatever you can do in your life to take these slow baby steps, will start, contributing to the progress and changing the culture so that it's more accepting. But at the end of the day, if you've suppressed and been unhappy with, the type of life you've lived, was it really worth living, So my advice is take small steps and think about, how you want to use this life that you have right now, and make the best of it, and be who you are, and embrace your authenticity. And it's hard, know that it's hard, but there's other people going through the same thing as you. Connect with them, find your community, and that's where you'll feel the most comfortable.
So your messaging and education kind of focuses a lot on women, especially younger women. But I kind of wanted to touch a little bit about men, because I think men also feel insecurity about their weight. So like, I guess like, are there any advice on men having issues? Does your messaging change a little bit? And just kind of your thoughts on men with.
Absolutely. So men also face unique challenges when it comes to their body image due to the social expectations of masculinity. Similarly to women, they can feel pressure to conform to certain beauty ideals that lead to mental health issues such as eating disorders. I think the first step for addressing this for men is to teach them that seeking help and discussing body image issues is not a sign of weakness. We need men to start talking openly about these pressures so that they can also learn to access information and support that can genuinely help them. So first step in addressing these things with men is to start normalizing that men can also have these issues. My partner as well has struggled with disordered eating before. And once you can kind of start talking about these things, I think it's going to be so much better for their health. But I think it'll also improve, the world in general. We have such rigid stereotypes for men and women.
I think body positive messaging kind of sometimes goes extreme to one side. Do you think it's something to people who are be like, oh, I want to lose weight? Do you think it's something to feel ashamed of, or?
So I always say this, that I do not hate people who diet. I hate diet culture. So the problem is that health and feeling good is so closely viewed as being linked to body size and weight. So I think that the more people engage in activities or practices that make them feel good, the better off that they will be. And yes, sometimes weight loss happens as a result, but it's also important to recognize that it's also okay if it doesn't. So the primary concern should always be mental and physical health, not appearance. My recommendation is always like ditch the scales, the tools of measurement that, kind of have guided us towards wanting to lose weight, ditch those and go by feeling instead. Like really get in tune with, if those foods are what feels good going into your body, then stick to those foods. Maybe go for a walk instead, right? Or try yoga or something a little bit more gentle that makes sense for you. Because any form of movement is going to make your body feel good. And internally, when our body feels good, we feel a lot better about our body image at the end of the day.
And I really believe that body image is not only about weight, but also other parts of bodies. Is there any, I do want to hear kind of perspective on this topic. And is there like a different way, a distinctive way of dealing with kind of such insecurities, or do you think it's kind of the same with weight?
So it's 100% my belief that the more diversity we see in the media and in our social media feeds, the more people will feel accepted. Because when you see yourself represented, you feel accepted and worthy as a person. So it's similar to the way that we deal with body image issues, because it really is a body image issue. It's appearance-based. And you're fighting against, ideals and messages from media and from everyone has opinion on certain things, like how to, get rid of acne, and, you could get surgery for this, you can change this about yourself. There's so many ways that we can change ourselves.
So talking about showing different body types and disabilities, in your book, I've seen that I was so happy that you showcased women that are not only, have a little bit of weight, but also very skinny, and also with people with disabilities. Like, what was the process of finding these women, and like, is there any like fun experiences? Were you there in the photo shoot? I'm assuming you were there.
Absolutely, I actually did the photos.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's so great! Oh my God, they're so pretty. I love that. It's like, they're all wearing white, and it looked like they were having a lot of fun, and I don't know, I wish I was there.
Yeah. So I really wanted, a lot of the body positive campaigns that I had seen, when I started this project many, many years ago, were women who were like unhappy and kind of like posed artistically. And I really wanted to see, diverse bodies, like having fun, enjoying themselves. There was one woman in particular who had come with her mom, and she she was in remission from cancer diagnosis, and was a bit, worried about leaving the house. And this was actually her first time leaving the house. And she was literally shaking so much when we started the shoot. And by the end of it, she was just like in tears of joy and just had felt so good and so empowered. Mm-hmm. And the big thing for her, what she had told me, was just knowing that she could help other people, you know, that maybe looked like her. And really, it was such an empowering experience to see them do this and feel good. And
you know, like you said, representation really matters, and just seeing that, even if like it takes years to kind of get to that point, just like keep seeing it. I think it's really, really important. I've started seeing that in websites, you know, when you're buying clothes and you're seeing women of all different body shapes.
You can actually see what it looks like on your body on some of these websites now. It's so nice.
It's really nice, and I feel a little bit of hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should. And you know, just because the women that I photographed, just because we see them happy and smiling doesn't mean that some of them weren't dealing with some serious insecurities. And you know, to what you said before, like it did take a lot of bravery and courage for some of them to do this. For others, you know, we're all so different. And I think that was the really neat thing about doing this project, was there were some women who were very hesitant, but did it because they knew they were making a difference. And then there were other women who just were much more healed, I guess, in their, you know, in their bodies, and felt good and confident. And the funny thing is, an observation from doing this was, you know, sometimes it was the really thin women that were struggling the most. And sometimes the most confident women were the larger women in the shoots. So really, it's up here. It's up to us. It's up in our minds to make, you know, ourselves feel good.